Go ahead.
Good evening, families of Irvine International Academy. And we're going to speak tonight about our after school program and for a little bit, our before school option as well. We're looking forward to getting to know everybody at the school. We're going to be having tours of the schools by grade level next week, Tuesday and Wednesday. So we're inviting all of you to come by and see where we're at. We're still preparing a lot, but there's a lot to see as well. So my name is Dr. Michael Scott. I have the pleasure of being the superintendent of the school. And of course, we want to thank Principal Stephen Chuang for all the work he's put into bringing this as a vision into something that benefits our children. And Mary Beth Chen is our assistant administrator in the office, and she's wonderful. She's putting a lot of extra time in to make this school amazing. So let me begin to share just some beginning thoughts. The after-school program is for our children to learn and grow and be cared for until parents come to pick them up. All students can be in our program. We're going to make room. And you can choose the amount of days that you want to participate in. So that last email shares a lot of options. And what will we be doing? The first thing in primary is to offer enrichment in Mandarin or English or both for our children, maybe even math, whatever the parent thinks they need for their children. So you could immediately after school choose an enrichment program in a language so that they get extra help with homework and understanding before they leave for home. I know that would help me since I don't speak Mandarin at all. And I'd love for my kids to get a little extra help. And then beyond that begins a whole cornucopia of choices, especially our music and dance program from Orange County Music and Dance, and Douglas Freeman, the CEO, is here to help us understand some of their offerings. Before I continue, how many people need translation? You can indicate or make a comment, because we can have that if you need it. Xishong, would you invite again in Chinese how many might need that?
OK， 有谁需要听中文的吗？还是英文都可以 ？Anyone？ 如果没有人讲话，那就只讲英文了。OK, looks like everyone is comfortable with English.
Okay. I'm going to just push a little part of the agenda first, and then I'd like the other people to talk about after school. So I'm going to begin with the simple one. Before school, I know it's Irvine, people have to get on the road. So we have an early morning care program from 7 a.m. until school started at 8:13. This is Monday through Friday, doesn't include days when the school is closed, just for school days. It's on site inside the school. Only IIA enrolled students may attend. We'd like you to sign up for it to be sure we have enough supervision. There are 2 retired teachers that will be supervising the children, usually in the library. And the cost is $10 per child per visit. But if an emergency came up and you just had to get the kids there early, that would be okay too. It's still just $10. So if you can let us know in advance in this next week, if you're interested in that service, that will help us enroll, get our numbers, make sure we're paying enough people to be there. Are there any questions about the early morning care program? Okay, I don't hear any questions. I'm going to ask
Dr. Scott, may I interrupt? May you ask how many people are interested in early drop-off?
Yes.
For those people who are here now.
So we have 62 people. Out of that 62, how many would be interested in the early morning care program? We do not include coffee for the kids, just so you know. But we'll take care of them otherwise.
Dr. Scott?
Yes,
Yeah, I'm sorry, what are the hours again for the early morning program you mentioned?
it will start at 7 a.m.
Yeah,
until school starts, which is 8:13.
thank you.
Could I also ask a question? Do you have to commit to a certain number of days, or could this be specific days you need it, and how early would we have to notify you?
Well, the earlier you understand what you need, the better we can plan. But even if it's just a last minute thing, we'll help you with the children. It's just $10.
Thank you.
Yeah, if you are interested in early morning drop-off, maybe you can indicate by posting a raising hand icon. So far, I see 2 people.
4, 5, 6.
May I ask, what is the earliest drop-off time allowed at school for like normal school, for normal class time, like 8 to 8:15? What
Yeah.
is the earliest time?
Normally about 8, 10 minutes before we start.
Okay, thank you.
We start at 8:13 in the morning.
So we got 7 of them interested. Yeah.
Wonderful. Mary Beth, can you make a note of that?
Yes, I will make it.
So in case just all the parent here, any day you want to drop off, you're welcome to. You just pay $10 per visit. And this is meant for the service. We are not there for the profit. We want to provide a convenience for parents.
Great. All right. Well, why don't we go now to the after school program? The IIA is hiring a full-time director. I'm going to present her name tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon at the board meeting. It's online, by the way, and posted on our website, right, Mary Beth? Where they can join.
Yes, it is.
So Kara, Gallardo, a great Spanish name. Could you please talk to our parents about yourself and what you are offering for us?
Hi, everyone. I am Kara, and my son Grayson will be in kinder next year at IAA. I also helped with the initial charter of the school. I helped Dr. Scott just with ESL component. So I am a ESL teacher with 15 years of experience teaching English to second language speakers. I have worked at UCI, Saddleback College, Cal State Fullerton. I was also the associate director of a program, a language program in Atlanta at Mercer University. I've worked at 2 different schools that are more geared towards children. So I worked at a charter school in Atlanta. And then I also worked at a school that was K through 12 in Diamond Bar.
Okay.
Right. And I think, yeah, so I have my master's in TESOL. I also have experience with hiring, with interviewing, and with running a program, creating curriculum. And I'm excited to offer the kids in the after school program some amazing opportunities. I feel like my child is going to be there, and I know I want the best for him, and I want them to be able to really grow in other ways, not just but physically, getting exercise, being able to socially interact with other kids, and have adults and other people in their life who are caring for them and who are creating relationships with them so that they are feel loved and cared for in that safe environment after school. So
Up to 6th grade, right?
And Kara,
yeah,
you'll start being available on some part-time hours beginning Monday, right?
Yes.
So Kara's going to be the person that when you register your child, and I know many of you have registered for 5-day-a-week services. We have that information. But our new ones, or you find you need to talk to Kara about something that you have a question about, maybe a different understanding now that you've seen more, she'll be the point person for that. So we'll figure out those hours. We'll announce that to everybody, probably by the website. We'll start a button about the after school program where you can see more regular information put up by Kara.
Yes.
Okay, so our school believes in multiple intelligences, and success in one area usually encourages success in many others. UC Irvine is famous for their studies about music and its effect on intelligence. Playing classical music like Mozart can actually increase IQ for a period of time. Even as a teacher myself in first grade, I used to play Mozart before we'd take a test and help the kids focus. So there's so much more to multiple intelligences. Kinesthetic learners, movement. Besides sports, though, is the beauty of dance. I wouldn't know about that personally, but I've observed a lot of beautiful dance. And I'd like Mr. Doug Freeman, I'm thankful to say he's been a big friend to our school already. Talk about the after school program.
Thank you, Michael. And it's really, I can't tell you how much of a pleasure it is to finally talk with the parents. We've been talking about opening this school now for months. It seemed like it would never come, and then all of a sudden it's right in our face. So knowing that it's starting and that the families will have this opportunity in the fall is remarkable, and I'm really thrilled for it. I'm going to have a grandchild in the program, and a number of friends that have enrolled their kids in it, and so we have a real stake in the success of your school. Let me give you a little bit of background about Orange County Music and Dance. We're a nonprofit performing arts school in Irvine. We're about 10 minutes from where the campus is for your school. We were founded by a Chinese immigrant by the name of Charlie Zhang. And some of you may know Charlie. Most of you probably made him very wealthy. He created the food chain, the Pickup Sticks restaurant, and a very successful business in its own right. So it was acquired by TGI Fridays, and Charlie went on to make funds and wealth and many businesses. Many of you may know him. He's a trustee at the Chinese Cultural Center. He's been an amazing philanthropist in the county and in the city. And he founded this school to create an opportunity for kids to really get an immersion in both music and dance. Pre-COVID, we were about 470 kids. After COVID, we continued to teach remotely, but the school enrollment now stands a little bit over 300. By the end of the year, we'll probably be close to 350, and by the beginning of the spring, we should be close to 400 and back to 500 by the end of the next year. So the kids are coming back, and we're really excited to have them. We have about 45 teachers. You're going to meet 2 of them tonight. Teachers in every discipline, every instrument, every form of dance you can imagine. And they're all professionals. They're professional musicians and dancers and educators. They all have their degrees in their specific fields. You can see our teachers on our website if you would like to go. The teachers that will be assigned to the after school program, we'll determine that after we know what the enrollment is and the hours and the days, because the teachers all have different days and hours that they're available to do this. So you'll be able to spot those probably within the next week after we get some registration completed. Our school program starts for early childhood at the age of 18 months. And you're looking at Sammy. Sammy Wah is the director of our early childhood program. And I'll tell you, she mesmerizes those kids, absolutely mesmerizes them. So our early childhood program goes all the way up to typically age 5. And then we move into early stages of music and dance as the kids experiment to find out what they love. We go all the way through age 18. We have pre-college programs. We have professional programs. We have adult classes as well. But you're going to find our school is focused on teaching, inspiring, and empowering our children. You're not going to find that this is an after-school program so that they can win competitions. This is a program where they learn to love music and dance. And the best way for me to demonstrate that is to have you hear from both Sammy and Jenna. Sammy, if you would, and Jenna, whoever's going to go first, introduce yourselves and your background, and then tell us a little bit about what the program that you've designed looks like.
Sure, I'll introduce myself first. So my name is Sammy Wah. I'm, like he said, the director of early childhood at OC Music and Dance. I have a pretty heavy background in developing curriculum for young children in both music and dance in public schools for different residency programs or after school programs. So and kind of short-term basis. So it's really exciting to be able to create this really long-term program. And we're working right now, I'm working with Jenna, who's here. And Jenna, could you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Jenna Tatiat Charirong, and I'm a clarinetist actually, but I am working with the what we're calling Music Discovery at our school, which is the in-between program after our Little Stars program, which takes us into more of discovering the instruments and learning and having them choose and decide what they love and to explore that. And I have background in Montessori. I've worked with a lot of toddlers, preschoolers, infants too, with music. And yeah, it's been an exciting program to work on with Sammy.
Yeah, a little bit about the program as a whole. So you might have heard already that you have our in-school curriculum, which is a combined music and dance curriculum. So when they have music and dance in their school day, it's on Wednesdays. It'll be a class where they do a little bit of music, a little bit of dance, making sure the music gets into their bodies, not just, we're not just playing to play. We're making sure that the whole body starts to feel the rhythm and feel the whole of the music. One of our goals is for students to have a really comprehensive understanding of the theory behind music or the overall feel of it, rather than just the steps or just the notes or just anything like that. And same thing with dance. We don't want them to just be repeating steps. We want them to feel the fullness of it and feel how it relates to the music. Our goal is to create artists and musicians and not necessarily people who can repeat things. So that's why we have this in-school really clear music and dance program, and then the after-school program is to build upon that. We have music classes and dance classes specific to different styles. I can speak a little more personally to the dance side of it. When Jenna and I are collaborating, I forgot to mention I'm a professional dancer and choreographer as well, and so I'm taking a lot of the dance side, she's taking a lot of the music, and we're working together to create this program. So I'll speak a little bit to the dance and then I'll hand it over to Jenna to speak about the music. So after school for dance programs, what's going to happen is they have classes on Wednesdays. And these are going to be introduction or fundamentals of dance classes. There's one for TK through first grade, second through third grade, and one for fourth and fifth graders. And each of those levels is tiered based on the age of the child and how experienced they'll be at that point. And we're working on not necessarily one ballet style or like one style like ballet or hip hop, but the fundamentals class is to give them a little bit of a head start in the basics of all styles. So they'll get a little bit of ballet, a little bit of jazz, a little bit of hip hop, some tap even, so they can have a broad base for if they're wanting to go into pre-professional training or anything like that, they'll be completely ready and prepared. And they'll have one level or one class of each level available on Wednesday afternoons. And that's the dance program. The music program's a little more extensive with all the different instruments. And so Jenna, if you could take a second and explain that.
Sure. So part of what we're trying to do with the in-school program and the after-school program is create a fluency in music as well as dance, almost just as in the same way that we have the English language or the Chinese language. We want to also have them fluent in music and dance. So what the in-school curriculum is doing is really getting them to understand notation, to understand the basics of music that will allow them to excel on their instruments. So unlike most schools, we are having them learn their instruments in the after school program. So that is why the after school program is very heavy with our instruments. That said, they still are introduced to the instruments. We do have lots of demonstration within the in-school curriculum. But for the after school curriculum, we offer what's called music discovery, which we have music discovery for TK through 1, and we have music discovery for second and third grade. And this is where they get to have more of a hands-on discovery of music. So they are able to try a violin, see what that feels like, try a flute or a clarinet, just to experience what it's like to play these instruments before they have to decide on one thing for the rest of their career in middle school and everything. So that is offered for TK through third grade. Along with that, we do offer, I guess I'll start with choir. We do offer choir, which is like a children's choir. We have TK through 1 classes, second and third, and also 4th and 5th. And the 4th and 5th class is more of a voice-centered class where they will be able to focus more on individual solo songs as well as some group songs as well. So we have that music discovery choir. We also, for starting in 2nd grade, we offer violin. So we have violin beginner and intermediate for 2nd and 3rd graders, and we also have violin offered for 4th and 5th graders. We also have cello for 2nd, 3rd, cello for 4th and 5th. We also do have piano because we will have a piano lab. Piano can start at TK. So we have TK through 1 classes for piano as well as 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, 5th. When the kids reach 4th grade, that is when we will offer woodwinds class. So we offer woodwinds class for 4th and 5th grade. And that is where students can pick clarinet or flute. And we will have instructors to teach them how to play these instruments. And they'll have much more time than they would rather than during 30 minutes in school. That's just not enough time. And so giving the students more time after school to really understand these instruments will make them better players. And at the same time, we get to spend time in class giving them the foundation that they need for these instruments. So we have woodwinds, we have brass, and we have percussion for 4th and 5th graders. And this is for just beginning instruments. And then we will also offer a wind ensemble and a string ensemble. I think I covered all of the classes.
Yeah, it's a pretty extensive list. I think the main thing to take away here is that you have the choice for your student of what kind of instruments you want them to to learn or if you want them to do dance. I think the cool thing is to things like violin, cello, trumpet, all of those more specialized instruments are going to be what we call core instrument. And students who are second and third or fourth and fifth are going to have to choose one of those instruments so they can really focus on it. If they choose a brass instrument or a violin or cello, or I think percussion is another one too, they're going to spend time on it and not do multiple of those, but they are allowed to take something like piano or choir or dance at the same time as that. So those can be simultaneous, but we want them to focus on one core instrument if that's what they want to do. So this way they have the in-school curriculum to have that foundation of music and dance in their body. And then as they go to after school, they'll specialize into different instruments or dance styles.
I do see the question in the chat about 4th and 5th grade violin classes. Depending on interest level, we do only have one violin class, which we were expecting to be more of a for intermediate students. We could open violin up to having a beginner and intermediate class for 4th and 5th graders if there's enough interest.
Yeah, and I think too this year, depending on the level of the students as they enter in, we'll figure out what that level is. As this program grows, what will happen is, or as the years go on, students in second or third grade or first and second who start an instrument, as they get into 4th and 5th, they'll be in a more intermediate level. This year will be a little bit more beginner, just to kind of introduce students who haven't played it before, or if they have, then it'll be a time for them to practice their skills and get to the level that they need to be at. The main goal of the program is to better prepare them for their middle school or high school music, band, dance endeavors. A lot of schools have an instrument component in school, but there's not a lot of time spent on it, right? You get the basic motions and you learn a couple songs and they do a performance in the end, and that's awesome. But our program is meant not only to let them have that performance skill, but to have the underlying knowledge of music as a whole and have it more in their bodies and not just in their fingers, you know? And this way they'll be better prepared for any band classes, orchestra, if they want to be going into private lessons somewhere, or if they would like to be doing some professional or pre-professional dance work. They're going to be really prepared for that in a way that other schools won't prepare them for.
Doug, I'd like you to summarize what they've said, but I just wanted to make one comment. I've understood that some of the music classes in comparison at districts are large, and you're going to find that this is going to have a special numbers to make it really effective. Douglas?
So one of the challenges in the, particularly in the Irvine School District, which has one of the best music programs, certainly in Orange County, and in many cases throughout California. But they have numbers they have to deal with. So these classes can be as large as 30 or 35 children. In fact, in many of the schools in Orange County, we actually send additional teachers to provide support because they can't get to the kids that are either real advanced or lagging behind. So they needed supplemental teachers, and we provide that for schools. But at IIA, we're going to keep the classes small. So you may have 5, 8, in some cases 10 kids. And that allows the teacher to do a lot more direct interaction with the children. Piano, about between 8 to 10.
Actually, for piano, we're doing 3 to 8, actually, or 4 to 8, actually. We're capping it at okay. 8 students for piano.
And that'll be in a lab. But in choir, the number's much higher. I'm not sure, Jenna, if you know what the numbers are.
I think it's up to 20 kids for the choir.
Yeah, you really want a full sound for something like that.
But for most of the classes, for violin, cello, piano, it won't be more than 8 students.
Recording in progress.
For the music discovery classes, we will have up to 15.
So you'll see that we've got multiple days and multiple hours recognizing that we're going to have a lot of demand and we're limiting the number in a per class. If we run out of spaces, if Dr. Scott will give us an extra room, we'll put another class in there. But part of this is we're challenged by the physical plant as to how many rooms we have. And we just want to make sure that we give everybody who's participating a real quality experience.
Thank you. You know, this would probably be a good time to answer some questions, particularly about the music. I like the fact, though, that we're going from kindergarten through 8th grade. If you didn't know that, our school will go up to 8th grade. That's going to be a very well-trained student that goes into whatever program they choose after our school. So would you like to start on the questions from the bottom going up?
Michael, I can read the questions from the top to the bottom.
Okay, great, Mary Beth, thank you.
Okay, I'll start with Joyce's question. This is not exclusive to OCMD. I'll just go through the question. So if you don't mind, may I check if the 2 retired teachers will be looking after children from TK to grade 6 in the early drop-off? Their needs will be different, so just want to make sure this arrangement is doable.
We'll put up their resumes on the website so you can get to meet them. I would hopefully, maybe we can arrange for them to come by and meet parents that are interested in the early morning program. So if you'll sign up as you're interested, then we can notify you when we can arrange a meeting to meet the teachers.
You can email me. This question is from Carolyn. Is there a tryout class offered to the after school class? Can we register in the program after school starts? And what's the payment period required per time, per month basis? I don't know if Doug, you can answer this.
Sammy, go ahead.
Sure. In terms for OCMD, we don't have necessarily a single trial class option, but what you can do is you can enroll in a class for the duration of the semester or the quarter. And if for some reason that doesn't work out, and that within the first month of classes, I think September 20th is our cutoff, you can fill out a withdrawal form and withdraw and just pay for the first month. So you would only have to do that little month, instead of the whole thing.
Okay, this is from Sarah. Hi, I've enrolled in the 5 days after school program and paid for it. I have 2 questions. One is how to transfer to a 4-day program. Let's start with that.
If you wanted to choose 4 days, now you have that choice. So simply fill out a paper explaining what you want to do and the days, and you'll be sending that to Kara, and IIA will refund you the difference.
Okay. Number 2, may I enroll in music and dance together with the 4 days after school program? And how do I pay for the 2 programs?
Okay. The after school program right now will be taken care of by IIA for payment. Because we're providing the roof, the electricity, air conditioning, security, the cost for Orange County Music and Dance would be extra for the classes that you would choose for. And we're trying to determine the best way to do that. And I believe OCMD is going to have their own registration system to handle that. Doug?
Yeah, I think the question, Michael, would be if the parent is, the student is there for 4 days and wants to take a music and dance, music or dance, or music and dance, instead of one of the existing IIA programs, can they do that? Is there some way they get a reduction in the IIA fee because they're going to spend 2 hours, let's say, at music or dance? That, I think that's the nature of the question. If I'm wrong, someone can write it in the chat room, but I can understand that parents have signed up for 4 days or 5 days or 3 days, whatever it may be. And in that time frame, they would like to have a class in dance or maybe a class in music or both. how do they do that if they've already signed up for the package in the IIA program? Will they get some proportionate reduction? And I'm not sure you've dealt with that, Michael, but I think that's the question that's being addressed.
And at this time, the answer would be, we're still going to be watching and responsible with our insurance and everything for all the children. So there's not a reduction at this time, but we can revisit that. So we average about $10 an hour after school. Some with the 5-day a week, it may even be a little bit less than that. And then the Orange County Music and Dance would be an extra fee to take. And then, of course, if there's like one right after school, Orange County Music and Dance, then they have a free period, and then they come back for another one. IIA is responsible for the whole 3-hour time.
Understand.
Okay. Can you sign up, this from Alan, can you sign up for music or dance classes without signing up for the after-school program?
Again, I'm sorry, the insurance and our agreement with Irvine Unified School District requires us to be the operator of the after-school program. So in that case, it's one of the times I have to say no. I try to avoid that word whenever I can, but that's just the reality of our lease.
Okay. This is from Michelle. Is there a difference between Dance 1, TK to 1, and Dance A to TK to 1?
That answer is no. They're the same class. I think they might be documented differently from some earlier correspondence with you, and we've since changed it to Fundamentals of Dance 1 or TK through 1. All of the dance classes are now called Fundamentals of Dance, and they're just different levels, 1, 2, and 3.
Okay, this is from A. Chen. If our kids are currently taking private music lessons, how do you envision them entering into the group after school class? Or is our best option to continue with our private lessons separately? Will OC Music and Dance offer any private lessons on site?
Jenna?
Well, we will not be offering private lessons. They are group classes. If parents are interested in private lessons, then I would recommend coming to our school or staying with whatever you're doing now. But we will have trained musicians, and we do plan on having some guests as well to come in to work with students one-on-one. But this is very much a group class setting. But it's small groups, so we don't have, we're not going to have it's not going to be like band class. They will get individual attention.
I also think it's important to note that if they already have experience in an instrument, there might be introductory, like Jenna was saying, there might be introductory things being given to other students, but they would be getting the quality of education that they need at their level. There's also a lot of value, I think, in being in a group class with other musicians. When they get to 4th and 5th grade, they have the opportunity to be in an ensemble with other musicians as well. So regardless of their experience, that playing together and playing as a group is a really different thing than playing alone. So it's a really valuable experience, but it's definitely up to you and what you think is best.
And I would definitely encourage, especially those that have some experience, to participate in the ensembles as well. Just to get it's a completely different experience to be able to play with your peers and to make music, and that's what we're hoping for in the ensembles. So,
Dr. Scott, this is for you. How does OCMD and after school help for English, Chinese, math work schedule-wise? If a child attends OCMD, do they miss out on school help?
Well, if you're there for the 3 hours, there will be lots of teachers available for school help. Our goal is to make it immediately available after school so that the kids can enjoy some of the other activities. I understand the importance of the academics. That's our first purpose for the after-school program. I also feel that the success that children have in other mediums translates over as well. But there will always be help for kids. That's our whole point for the after-school program.
Okay. This is for OCMD. Violin and string. Is that 2 course classes? Can students take both classes or only one?
So they can only take one core instrument. So we have violin 1 and 2, and 1 and 2, that violin 1 is intended for beginners. Violin 2 is intended for those with some experience. So it would be more of an intermediate class. And so the goal would be to, if you're just to take one of the violin classes. Does that answer the question?
Okay, during the after-school program, what are the choices of music or dance available? There was a survey, but I don't believe I've seen the actual offered list. I apologize if I missed that list.
That list is it's going to be on our website, or on our website that's going to be linked through IIAs. The registration links, Doug also put them earlier up in the chat. Registration for these opens tomorrow. You can look at them, but they're not going to be available for registration until the morning, because we still have a couple after this meeting and after some scheduling changes that need to be made. Your spot won't be guaranteed until tomorrow morning. The entire list, we could read through it. I could also, if you'd like, Michael, I could share my screen and show that. Jenna went through the different instruments that we have there, and the 3 dance classes I listed earlier.
There is something
fairly extensive.
Yeah, there is something that I forgot to mention, though, is that with violin 1 or 2, you'll notice that there are Monday classes and Friday classes. If you want to take violin 1, the way it's set up, you can take violin 1 on Monday and you can take violin 1 on Friday if you'd like. So we have the option to have 2 days a week for each instrument, for violin, cello, and also the woodwinds, brass, and percussion.
Rather than going into more detail now, we'll get the questions first and then be sure that we're answering anybody's general questions, and then maybe at the end we can do some.
Sure.
Sammy, you can also send me that list. I can distribute it.
Okay, it's on the website. It's on the registration website, so I can.
Okay.
It has a description of each class there. So.
Sammy, can you put the address for the registration?
Sure. Yeah, I'll put it in the chat right now. And as a reminder, it's not going to be open until tomorrow morning, but this is the link. Here we are.
While she's putting that up, I just want to explain, Orange County Music and Dance has done a lot of registration a lot of times. We feel really fortunate to partner with experienced, really top-notch program. I'm afraid I have visions of competition with OSHA for our music results and dancing.
I will say this, Michael, the kids in the school will be very ready if they decide one day they want to go to OSHA. They'll be very ready for that experience.
Okay, next question. At the moment, students will be wearing face masks to school. How will the OCMD choir class work? Will the children be masked or not?
Well, we follow what the guidelines are from the health department. That simply has to be that way. But I'm hoping common sense will win out and it becomes less political.
Okay. Next question. Will the children know where their classes are in the after school program? For example, will TK be directed to their music classes?
That's part of the responsibility of IIA, is to make sure all the children are supervised at all times. One of the fortunate things about our school is it's just one big building. So the children will be redirected easier than some other school designs.
Okay. I think this is for Sammy and Jenna. What is the difference between Piano 1 and Piano 2?
Piano 1 is intended for beginners. Piano 2 is intended for those with some experience. So it's more of an intermediate class.
Okay. How do we enroll for a 2 or 3 day after school program?
Kara Gallardo will be accepting your letters of what you want and helping you arrange for enrollment.
Okay, so that information will be available later.
Yes, we I believe Principal Stephen is now working on a registration portal that you can go in through the website, very similar to how you registered for the school in the beginning. And that will help too. That would be next Monday though. And we plan to have enrollment for a week.
Okay. Is piano only taught on electronic keyboard, and what are the pros and cons on the keyboard learning?
We do have keyboards. They are weighted though. We will have weighted keys. And so that means that the touch and the feel will be just like in a real piano. So they will be able to learn the touch of just like they would with a normal piano. Unfortunately, we really just can't afford to have that many real acoustic pianos. That would be very unrealistic for us. But they will have full set of 88 keys, and they are weighted and will help. Definitely at this level, it shouldn't be a problem.
But if you know of a piano that's been in the family that wants more use, we can put it to use. So just contact Kara or myself, and we'd love to have a couple of pianos at our school.
Okay. Next question. I had a question on the pricing for the after school program. For TK&K, if you choose only 2 days, you pay almost 80% of the 5-day price. However, for 1st through 5th, if you choose only 2 days, you pay about 50% of the 5-day price. Why do you have to pay so much more for the 2-day option for TK&K? Is it due to staffing requirements?
We were fortunate to have one of our future board members, a very successful businessman, review the money and everything. I would probably redirect the question to him to answer it, but I know everything was set up on a pretty much the same basis. I don't think the issue is the fact that it's 5 hours compared to 3 hours for 1 through 5 for TK and K. But we can, if you don't mind, we could talk about more about the details like that afterwards in a conversation.
Do we have to bring our own keyboard to class?
We will have, I believe, 9 or 10 in a room.
Yes, we will have keyboards available for them. We'll have 9, but so we have a max of 8 students per class. So so that leaves 1 for the teacher. So yes, we will have the keyboards there. No need to bring any keyboards.
Just to give some credit, we are going to be providing some instruments. We were fortunate, and our school received a $50,000 grant, $25,000 and $25,000 matching. And part of the purpose for that grant was to help provide instruments for our children. So we're just excited to have the Larry and Helen Hogue Foundation grant to help our music program.
Which days and time of the week will the music and dance class happen?
We have a fairly extensive schedule on the registration page. It also went out, I think, in an email at some point. I could share my screen if you'd like me to, or we can just direct them to the registration link, whichever you would like, Dr. Scott.
We have quite a few questions
to get through. Yeah, they're all on the IIA registration website. The link that was put on the chat. If you can't access it right now because you're in the meeting, we can. It's going to be on the IIA's website tomorrow, as well as I hope sent out in an email at some point.
Is it the
And-
attachment that we made already that went out? Is it
I
this?
believe so.
Yeah.
There's some small schedule changes that have been made since then, based on some scheduling issues with the different attendance levels, but
And as well, depending on registration, we may end up being able to open up some additional classes at different times, depending on registration.
Jenna, can you address the question of instruments that kids need if they're taking an instrument class, whether they can rent them from the school or directly? Can you talk a little bit about that at this juncture?
Essentially, we will be able to have we will be able to rent instruments so that anyone who needs one for any of our classes will be able to rent instruments, violins, cello, clarinet, trumpet, whatever you need, we will be able to rent those at a fairly low rate.
So just to be real clear, we don't directly rent them. The parents do, and they use the organization. We would recommend you use the organization that our school uses. So you might get a violin for $16 a month or some number and if the violin breaks, you turn it in, they give you another one. If the strings break, they'll restring it for you. So that's the benefit when you're dealing with children that they work their instrument pretty hard. So in these early days, you're probably better off to rent it, but it doesn't come through OCMD. We do it. We have the same program that we use with a company called Music and Arts, which is a subsidiary of the Guitar Center. It's a big national firm. And they give us terrific rates because we're schools.
Okay, the next question is, the schedule sent out to parents earlier showed that there are multiple classes each week for the same type. For example, violin will be taught Monday and Friday. Does that mean we should choose both days or is it optional?
It's optional. You can choose to sign up for one of them, or you can choose to sign up for both. That goes for, as I said before, cello and some of our piano classes. And you can decide whether or not you want to take once or twice a week.
Okay. Currently, my
that-
child, go ahead.
I was going to say that I will say that differs for classes like music discovery. When they're in TK or K, the music discovery class is a 1 day a week class. I think that's the only other one that is offered twice a week, but only available to sign up for once a week, just the music discovery. The rest of the instruments you can choose to either have one and another one or 1 or 2 during the week.
Currently, my child is taking a semi-private piano lesson at OCMD this summer for 8 lessons, 45 minutes each. Would the lessons prepare him for piano too?
I would say, if this is a beginning student, could you repeat what they said?
My child is taking a semi-private piano lesson at OCMD this summer, 8 lessons for 45 minutes each. Would the lessons prepare him for piano too?
If this is, okay, if they're starting at at a beginning level, I would still recommend taking piano 1. Piano 2, we're looking for more like a year's experience at least.
Okay. I just want to remind you that it's already 7:56. It's almost 8 o'clock. Dr. Scott, do you want to keep going? There's 24 more questions, I think. So.
Well, why don't we take 15 more minutes of questions?
Okay. All right.
Are they mostly music related?
If they are music related, can I put them aside and we can address them later, or do you want to?
maybe we should hit the rest that are not music related, give them some time.
Okay.
Because Mr. Freeman, we plan to have Orange County Music and Dance coming to the school site so that more questions and sign-ups can be done. Is that correct still?
Yep, absolutely.
Do you have any
And
ideas?
also, I would invite any of the families to email myself, and I'll redirect it to the individuals that should respond. If you have a direct question and you don't want to wait for when we get a chance to meet at the school site, feel free to email me, and I'll put my email address in. I would expect a lot of those questions to come that are more personalized anyway, and we're happy to respond. I'm also willing to come by the school on any given day and just meet parents and let them come talk, and I could bring one of the teachers or a couple of the teachers with me to have a conversation in person. But I'll put my email in the chat room now.
Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going
Orange
to
County Music and Dance will actually have an office at the school. First hallway to the right, classroom. It's a small room on the left. So we've set aside a place for parents to come and talk to them.
So for all the questions on OC Music and Dance, I'm going to put it on a sheet and I'm going to forward it to Doug. So for now, I'm going to go through the questions for Dr. Scott. Dr. Scott, is the schedule time firm? I think the class we want is at 5 p.m., which would require a 2-hour wait. Can a child wait at the school unsupervised?
Sorry,
No.
Mary Beth, that was a music question.
Oh, okay.
I would suggest that they sign up for the day. We're going to have some excellent opportunities, robotics, art, much more choices. I can't wait to get together with Kara now and put our imaginations to work. We also have an after-school committee. For instance, Xian Chen, the PTO president, is on that committee. Just a man that wants to talk to parents. So we want to listen to other ideas. So we'll have a great program, and then you wait for the class, but the kids won't be bored. They're going to be excited about what we do.
Okay.
Yeah, we are still collecting a lot of input from the parents, and other than OCMD, we are designing a lot of programs. When Carol is in, we're going to work with Carol and with the parents. It's a different thing. There are more enrichment in Mandarin, in English, or in arts, Chinese culture, everything. We just don't have time to talk about it tonight.
And
Still in the planning. So any inputs, just let us know. So that's thanks to Michael Scott. He's willing to accommodate all those requests. So basically, no child will be left behind. Basically, that's his policy, and we thanks to Principal Zhuang. He is very supportive of this too.
Thank you for the question, Mary Beth.
Okay, is it possible for kindergarten students to have 4 days of 2-hour care? If not, on Wednesdays, does after school for third graders start at 12:35?
Yes, our after-school program does start at 12:35 on Wednesdays. That's for sure. And we have 2 grandchildren. My wife and I, actually, we have 11 grandchildren. And another one coming any day now. So he's in TK. He's staying for 2 hours. And then his sister and him will go home together at the end of school at 2:45. So yes, there's 2 hours after school for those TK and K kids.
Okay, can you take one more question? If I have a TK student interested in 3 classes with OCMD on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, do we need to pay for 3 full after school programs from 12:35 to 5:45, even though her classes end at 2 or 2:50? We are not interested in English or Mandarin help at this time.
I'm not sure. I don't think the policy is set in stone. We'll have Kara consider some exceptions. So, you know, our parents love their kids and they want them to have great experiences, but then they love to have the time with them too. And we want to encourage that. We're not trying to keep the kids any longer than they want to be there.
I think everything else I can direct to Doug. Unless any other questions from parents right now for Dr. Scott?
Okay, so if you've had the general questions answered, there's going to be more information. We'll have a sign up, but we'll go ahead and turn the rest of the time over to the Orange County Music and Dance. It's a great opportunity for our school and our kids. I'm just so excited about it.
Okay, I think that ends it unless anyone else has any questions. Okay, thank you parents for attending.
Take a few more questions for music and dance right now before we leave.
Okay, let's see.
Maybe another 10 minutes, let them go ahead and get it out.
Okay. I have a fourth grader with no violin experience. Can I enroll him in violin 1 for 2nd and 3rd grade since there is no beginning violin for 4th and 5th grade?
We could open up it sounds like we have a lot of interest for violin for beginning class as well. So what we could do is set up a violin 1 and 2 class as well. But as of right now, we just have just one violin class for 4th and 5th graders. And it's based on age, not experience at that point.
Could students practice musical instruments or just learn knowledge in the music class?
In the music discovery classes, they will learn music. Those are the ones for more of immersive, just trying different instruments out. It's not designed to be, we're going to learn violin. It's a way to try things out and try all the different instruments. And it's not, I suppose the main goal is to be learning about music and dance in the in-school curriculum. But for after-school programs, I would recommend music discovery for that.
This is a very specific question, Dr. Scott. For 3rd grade after-school program schedule, it shows that the elective classes is from 1:10 to 1:55 and 2:05 to 2:50. What if a student takes a string class from 4 to 4:50? Will English be available in 1:10?
Sorry, I don't think I understand the question well enough. It sounds like a full day to me if the class is going to be at 4. So yes, there should be English available. But I'm not sure I understand it.
Okay, we can revisit that. This is from Andrea and Martin. You can email me for the question. Let's see. Does the piano class prepare the students for the Certificate of Merit exams?
I'm not sure. I don't think we are doing the CM in our piano classes, but that's to be decided by our piano instructor.
Okay. I thought piano for 4 and 5 was for 4th and 5th graders. Is it by grade or is it or 4 and 5 an advanced class?
It's by grade.
Is it possible for, I don't know if I read this, is it possible for kindergarten students to have 4 days of 2-hour care? If not, on Wednesdays, does after school for 3rd graders start at 12:35?
Yes, we answered that one.
Do we pay now when we select the OC music and dance class for tomorrow?
Let's wait until tomorrow to actually register. because we do have a few changes to make tonight. So I would go ahead and wait until after, I think, 9 o'clock tomorrow to before actually paying for it. But yes, you do have to pay for the classes upfront.
Okay. All right, this is the last question. Will the schedule for Wonder Kids be finalized or available soon? This way we can decide on which OCMD class to pick for registration tomorrow morning. As in what hour Mandarin homework help is available, English help. There was a rough schedule displayed a couple months ago.
Yeah, looking at, I think that will have to be revisited by Kara. So we're going to talk about what to offer, and the numbers that register will drive what we offer as well. So we'll revisit that, but we're only talking a week before we respond to you.
Is music, OC Music and Dance, is it paid by semester?
Yes, it is. It's you sign up for the, I think it's 16 weeks. Yes, 16 weeks, and we sign up. There's 2 different semesters, I guess you could say, that you can sign up for.
Dr. Scott, can kids wait at school without aftercare for their music class?
They'll have to be part of the aftercare program. That's our insurance covering our supervision of children to be sure of their safety. So they'll join. But I think you'll find that the cost for the care, the cost for the classes are a bargain regardless.
Okay. Okay, we have some catch-up questions. If we want to enroll our kindergarten student in both 1-day after-school program and 2-hour care program, do we need to pay $325 plus $520 per month?
I'm sorry. I don't think I could do the numbers quick enough. The $520 a month, though, isn't that almost the weekly amount?
I think that is for one of the music classes.
Oh, got it. Okay. So the music program operates differently from us in the IIA after school program. So you're paying for the quality of the teachers, the size of the classes. IIA's prices are, I thought, pretty clear for what you want to choose.
Okay. And I think that also answers the question. If we decide not to do aftercare, do we have the option of driving back to school for music?
The answer to that is, of course, you can remove the kids. They're your children. We wouldn't interfere in the least. But they'll have to be signed up for the day of that time. That's just part of the care. So you can take them some days and leave them other days. But we can revisit that if we need to.
Okay. Galvin, the after-school program pricing sheet mentions a 2-hour per day option that spans 5 days per week, and there is no listed option for 2 hours per day at 4 days per week. Will there be a 2-hour per day at 4 days per week option?
We can adjust that. Kara will help with that adjustments.
Okay, I think that's it.
All right. Thank you so much for your questions. We're growing, and the key, if you remember our introduction, we're really attempting, and that's why we formed the committee, to answer the parents' needs. Several of the parents with children are on the committee to help get all that across. As even myself, although I seem like I don't have children involved, I do. I have 2 grandchildren involved. So we're all part of this program to see it succeed. Thank you so much for your time tonight. This means a lot. And we're looking forward to serving your children really well and brightening their futures with music and dance. I can't wait to see the activity involved after school. It's always my pleasure to watch joy and happiness in children's faces. Okay,
Okay, have a good night.
thank you.